They're looking for mom. Where's that milk? You probably have to go in there and make sure. Sometimes there's like a keratin plug in the teat where the lamb isn't powerful enough to remove the plug, so you got to kind of milk her a little bit to get it going, and then they can figure it out. Yeah, when they're born, they're just born looking under her for something. I don't know how they know how to do it, but they, the first moments they're looking to feed immediately.
Did she just pop them both out now, or one was lying
I
down?
pulled one right before you got here. I had her in the stall, and she had hooves coming out, and they were small enough where I was confident that it was a small enough lamb where it's easy to pull. When they're really big, it could be a problem trying to get the head through and everything if she's not dilated enough. So I started, and once I got one leg out, the second one comes out real easy, and then you basically can pass the head almost instantly. So I pulled one, then you got here, and then when I went to check on her, she was down on the ground pushing out a second, and she just had just the tips of two hooves, and I did the same thing with the second one. I don't know which one's which. Who's the first and who's the second at this point? Because they're.
How old is this?
The ewe is, I think she's 8 years old.
So she's not one of the new ones.
No, she's from the first year that we had lambs. She's one of, well, we kept almost everything in the first year, so she's one of that first crop. And she's always been a good mother. She's really attentive, and she's friendly with us, which makes it easy to deal with. If she does have issues with the lamb, or just issues, period, we can handle her. She's not very frightened. But yeah, she's a decent ewe. I don't think she's, for the most part, she's never really had like worms or anything, which is a good, they all get worms. It's just whether they're tolerant of the worm load or not, or whether they suffer from it and it ends up compromising their health. If they suffer from it, you don't want to keep her lambs, you don't want to keep that ewe. You want them to be somewhat tolerant of the worm load, because that means you don't have to use wormers.
Do you have to help the babies find?
No, they're going to find it. The only issue might be like sometimes the ewes have really large teats where the lambs will just like kind of suck on the side or something. They don't really know what they're doing. So, or if they're very low to the ground, the lambs look up high and then they just never really make it to where the milk is. But they will do this until they eat. So, and the lambs have to eat within like the first 24 hours, usually to have a good chance of surviving. But most of them feed within the first hour. And when they finally do reach the teat and can connect with it, you'll hear a suckle sound, which is distinct from them just trying to find it.
Right.
So you'll hear that. It's a very distinct sound, and you're like, oh, they're feeding. And they'll usually, when they first start feeding, their tails will stop entirely, and then they'll go crazy where they're actually getting milk. The milk, milk it's like lactase or whatever. It's just a form of sugar. So once it hits their tongue, it's like any person or any animal, when they react with sugar, their eyes just light up and their brains just fire, from that experience. So
I did notice like last year when you had them, or was it the year before? It's like I've seen them when they're just born and they're all wobbly, and it's like the next day they're knowing exactly where to go.
Oh,
and,
yeah. Well, they've never used their legs before. Like it's a lot of this is just like.
It's just amazing how fast they get that.
Oh, they're born just
Oh, here we go.
Getting close. Yeah, he's a little too high.
A little lower.
These lambs are they're sort of on the small side, so they might have a harder time connecting with her. And even if they get on the teat, it may not be. It might have that keratin. It's not open. In an hour or so, I'll go in there and open up make sure the teats are open. They've got milk coming out.
And how many more do you have left?
6 more ewes that are pregnant. One of them might have some issues. We're not really that hopeful for her. It's a very older geriatric ewe that's had some health problems and stuff this year. So yeah, there's 5 more that are definitely gonna, they're gonna have a good time. We had a breech birth yesterday where one was born backwards, and it was the second lamb. So one came out, the ewe was very dilated, but the breech was like one leg was coming out, and then the other leg was folded still. You know how that like their back legs are like our arms, like sort of like it's like their elbow essentially is that back leg. So you couldn't extend that leg because it has to bend to then get the lower portion of the back leg out. So Jen, who has much smaller hands, was able to get in there and bend it and get it out, bend it inside of her body, and then pull that second back leg out. And then once you get the 2 legs out, it's a little tougher than when they're going face first or feet first or front first. But she was so dilated at that point that it came right out, and it was fine. It was healthy. Every year we usually have like 1 breech. The worst really is when there's like one coming out face first, and then there's a second one where it's 2 legs, but it's 1 leg from each lamb, and so you have to figure out which one's connected to which one, and then you push the other one back in, and then try to get the front legs of the most presented lamb out first. That's where we've had the worst luck, because they have 2 in them. They're pushing. The lambs have moved higher up into her body to leave, and there's just no room to spin them and turn them and do what needs to be done to get them out safely. It's really, really tedious work. And we're just lucky that Jen just has smaller hands. If she wasn't here, I just couldn't do it. There aren't really tools, that you can use to speed it along. They're so fragile that you can't really pull them by the head or anything like that. You can only pull them by the hooves.
And all these other ones are outside?
So there's 1 in this stall, and then there's 2 in that stall that were born yesterday. We're just letting them be with the moms a little bit longer, because the single one over here is a first-time mother, and sometimes they're not very good.
Right.
They reject the lamb, or they don't understand. Hey, buddy. Hi. Got cute little patterns.
It's funny that they let you pet them.
Yeah, they don't know any fear yet.
She doesn't like it.
Yeah, she doesn't like us being in here, but.
Looks like a little cow.
Yeah.
He's so cute.
Our ram has like black and white spots like that, so he throws off a lot of sheep that look like that. So she's a first-time mom. She's just a year old, and so she got pregnant when she was like, I don't know, 6 months old or 7 months old. So she's small. She probably, when they're pregnant their first year, they're putting a lot of energy into making that lamb and not growing. So within the next year, she'll probably double in size.
Yeah.
Because she'll just catch up to where she should be. She tried to steal that one's lamb. She went right over to it, was cleaning it, and when I picked it up to put her in a stall, she chased me into the stall and stuff. She's like, that's my lamb, and it's before she had hers. So the hormones were kicking in where she's like bonding with lambs.
It's hard to see the little one in the back. Yeah. So is she like aggressive?
Or no, none of them are aggressive. Yeah, the females aren't aggressive at all. She's Jennifer's favorite sheep. So she's used to getting like treats and stuff. Like if you go in there, she'll come right up to you and she wants treats. The ewes are not aggressive. The most they'll do is just stamp their foot at you, but they'll never strike at you or anything like that. They don't have that behavior. They're fearful. So that black one, you can see his lips are kind of white. So they call that sugar lips, and that means his actual coat will be gray. So he's born with black fleece. And then that will be there. It'll grow out black for a little while, but at some point it'll turn gray. So if we keep him, he'll have black legs and a gray body going forward. Pretty talkative. Hey, buddy.
So now's the time to start playing with them so that they
Well,
like you.
we don't. I mean,
I know you don't.
Yeah,
but,
we don't keep.
But this would be the time to start playing with them.
Oh
so
yeah,
that
yeah.
they
If
get
you
used
interact
to
with them all the time, like we've had bottle lambs where something happens with the mom, or they're older, they can't produce milk, and we have to feed the lambs, and those things will just follow you around like a dog, and they'll see you, they come running, they'll let you pet them, they're unintimidated by people completely.
Do they think you have treats?
Yeah, I think I have treats. I just have grass.
This is pretty big compared to the ones that
These are
inside.
the first ones born, the one with the horns. And I think she was like third or fourth, something like that. There's a real pretty one with little black and white flecks, flashing.
Yeah, I see that.
And then there's at least 3 out there. There's one in the back corner too that are just black and white spotted. They have cute patterns. One of them has like I guess it's the one out there, has like a black butt, where it's just a circle on his butt, and then the tail is white. But he's way out there. The black one in the back was the one that was born yesterday.
What's that one laying down way over there?
Yeah, she's got a really cute lamb out there. She's an older ewe, so she's less, not gonna pop up. Trying to save her calories. It's harder on the older ewes too, because they just don't produce enough milk, and it's real draining. They're trying to get as much nutrition as they can, because it's harder. They don't have the teeth and to graze the same way that a younger ewe has. They don't also take in calories the same way. So having a lamb is a lot more difficult for an older ewe.